Hi, my name is Tanner Feemster with Bellingham Youth Chess, and today I'm going to be doing a chess tutorial on the 2-rook checkmate. So you'll see that black here has a pretty good advantage. He's got 2 rooks up on the lone white king. Now we're going to turn this advantage into a win. How we do this is first we need one of our rooks to actually be cutting off a rank or a file from the king. Notice how the king here cannot escape up onto this rank because our rook here is blocking it. The white king would have to go into check, which of course is illegal. So right now, let's just assess all of white's possible moves. We know that white cannot come up to any of these squares on the 6th rank. He can come here. Looks like he's safe. Safe there. Safe here. Safe there. And lastly here. He can go everywhere except for up here. Now, what the purpose of the 2-rook checkmates is that we are going to continually deny squares for the opposing king. So, for example, we want to deny this entire rank for the king, while also denying the 6th rank. And by denying all of these squares, white's king will be forced to continually move farther and farther down to the edge of the board. So how can we accomplish with it? How can we accomplish this with what we have? We're already denying the 6th rank with this rook. How do we deny this rank as well? If we move our rook here down, we have accomplished denying the king of this rank. The king has to move down, but since our rook is no longer on h6, the king is able to come up as well. Actually, sorry, not to these squares because the black king is defending it. So actually, rook down here doesn't really work too well. We want to keep and maintain a rook up here so that the king cannot escape out. Correct move would be rook down. Very good. Now the rook is preventing the king escape up top, and our newly placed rook is denying the king to continue staying on the 5th rank. Awesome. So now white only has 3 options to move. Can go down the left, straight down, or down and right. If white goes down and right, now attacking this rook, that forces black to do something. What black would love to do, let's just make a neutral position so we can understand this move here. If white moves down, what black wants to do is he wants to continue rolling the rooks. So with king down, bring the other rook down, and now you can see we are continually pushing the king farther and farther down. Check. King comes down, rook comes down. Keep pushing him to the end of the board. He comes down, rook down again, and then that's how we deliver checkmate. That is the ideal position of what we want. Now let's go back to here where I suggested king moves to f4. So we can't do this follow-up move with rook h4 because it'll end with king takes g5, which is still a winning position, but it's much easier for black when he has both of his rooks. So instead, we're going to sit on this move. We're going to wait for it. But the great thing about rooks is if you want to cut off this entire rank, your rook just needs to be anywhere on any of those squares on that rank. Well, provided that's an empty board, which in this case it is. So we're actually going to swing this guy all the way over to a5 here. Now we're still cutting this off, but the king is no longer attacking it. So let's say the king wants to prevent this rook h4 move, which is what black wants to play next. by bringing his king over to g4. Let's do that. Now this rook can no longer come down because it would end up in black taking the rook. But of course, this is still a win for black because the black king still has the black rook, so it's still a win, though you make it a little more difficult. And we want to keep as much material on the board. Now we bring our rook back to b6. Notice how the rooks used to be here on these red squares, and we actually completely flipped them to the other side, showing our advanced maneuverability. The king can no longer get back in time to start attacking these rooks like he was able to before, which is going to look like this, with plans to try and get up to one of the rooks. Rook down, check. King keeps coming over, check. Down, check. Now white's going to come to c1. Now we're attacking this rook. What black wants to play is he wants to play rook a1, deliver checkmate, but it's not actually checkmate, because if we do this, white can take this rook here on b2. Remember what we do? Take a second to think about it. Well, I hope you got the answer right. We swing that rook over all the way to the other side, which in this case is h2. So our rook here is safe. King does the same thing he did when he was over here, kind of where this red square area is. Bring the king over, preventing rook a1 checkmate. And black moves all the way over to g3. Now white doesn't have any chances. He has no time to run over to attack the other side. The rooks are too maneuverable. He'll try, and then rook g1 will be checkmate. And that's how you do the rolling rooks. This is a very simple checkmate. Let's go down to the end here. Remember our first step, cut off the king. Let's say, for a moment here, let me actually move these pieces around a little bit. So we'll do like that. Okay, sorry. I just made a new starting position for us here. So let's do this with white. So we have this file already set up that's cutting the white king off from coming over here. That's good. For this demonstration purposes, I'm just going to make the goal of let's cut off this rank here. So we can do that by bringing our rook down. Now this rook is cut off. Sorry, this king is cutting off the rook. The rook is cutting off the king. Ah, words. And we can't go here, too, because the rooks are controlling all this area. So that basically leaves 3 squares for the king to move. Let's say he comes here. Well, now, how do we force the white king down with that same rolling rook concept? Rook c5. Give a check. Now we are cutting off both of these ranks. The white king is forced to come down. Let's say he comes down here, attacking the rook, giving a little bit of counterplay. Now we swing it all the way over, and as white tries to chase us, we continually run away. And now white's in some trouble here. Won't be able to catch the rooks and deliver checkmate. So that is how you do the rook and king checkmate. Hope you learned something. Thank you.